Christmas morning, 10 a.m. sharp. While WNBA leadership was counting on a peaceful holiday break, Nike dropped a 32-second nuclear bomb that exposed everything the league's been desperately trying to hide. This wasn't just another shoe commercial. This was a calculated power play that revealed who actually controls women's basketball's biggest asset. And spoiler alert, it's not the commissioner. Here's what really went down. Nike released Caitlin Clark's first major brand campaign without league coordination, without permission requests, without any pretense that organizational approval mattered. They went direct to social media with a blockbuster production featuring A-list celebrities, cinematic visuals, and zero WNBA branding. The message was crystal clear. We don't need you anymore. If you've been connecting these dots all season, if you've noticed the growing tension between Clark's star power and the league's desperate attempts to maintain control, smash that like button. It tells us you understand what's really happening behind the polished PR statements. Let's filter out the noise and examine what this Christmas Day power move actually revealed. For months, we've watched the commissioner try to manage an impossible situation. You can't build a collectivist brand strategy when one player generates more attention than the entire league combined. You can't demand gratitude from someone who's literally carrying your viewership numbers. And you definitely can't control narratives when major sponsors decide your approval is optional. The commercial itself told you everything. Nike featured Caitlin Clark alongside Travis Scott, Jason Kelsey, Travis Kelsey, international celebrities whose individual net worth could purchase multiple WNBA franchises. The production quality screamed blockbuster, not standard athlete endorsement. Winter landscapes, cultural touchstones, locations meaningful to Clark's journey from West Des Moines to Iowa, to the Indiana Fever to New Heights podcast fame. But here's what many of you have been pointing out for weeks. What got left out spoke louder than what made the cut. Zero prominent league logos. No indication this was about elevating women's basketball collectively. No coordination with WNBA marketing departments. No careful messaging about league partnerships or organizational growth. This spotlight hit one individual, one brand, one unmistakable statement. She doesn't operate within your system. She defines her own. That's where the reported chaos began. When your entire role revolves around maintaining equilibrium and organizational authority, watching your premier sponsor broadcast to millions that your permission is irrelevant doesn't feel like standard advertising. It feels like a public declaration of independence. Nike didn't consult, they didn't coordinate, they didn't seek approval. They hit publish and let the market decide. And the market decided instantly. Social media erupted. Fans celebrated. Media outlets scrambled to cover the release. Within hours, the commercial generated more organic engagement than entire WNBA marketing campaigns combined. But inside league headquarters, emergency calls started lighting up phone lines. Board members wanted explanations. Team owners demanded to know why their most valuable asset was creating massive marketing moments while $0 landed in franchise accounts. Think about the timing here. Christmas Day was supposed to be sacred territory, not spiritually, but strategically. A 24-hour window where corporate crises pause, where email notifications go silent, where leadership can pretend the year's accumulated disasters have graciously decided to take a break. The WNBA had just survived months of controversy, clubhouse drama, questionable officiating accusations, and social media warfare that looked more like celebrity feuds than sports discussion. League brass was desperately hoping for calm. Let the sports media focus on NFL holiday games and NBA Christmas matchups. Let women's basketball fade into background noise for just one peaceful day. Then Nike showed up and decided tranquility was completely overrated. They chose Christmas morning specifically because maximum eyeballs would be glued to screens, because families would be gathered around devices, because the cultural moment was primed for viral content. And Nike knows something the WNBA commissioner is terrified to admit publicly. Caitlin Clark has transcended the league. Her value exists independently of organizational infrastructure. She brings audiences, she secures premium sponsorships, she generates mainstream attention. The league needs her far more than she needs the league. And that fundamental imbalance is destroying every traditional power dynamic women's basketball has operated under for decades. Reading between the lines of this Nike release reveals the strategic calculation. They're not just marketing a shoe line, they're positioning Clark for something bigger. International exhibition tours, alternative basketball ventures, media production deals, entertainment crossover opportunities. When your 32-second commercial outperforms complete organizational campaigns, you start asking different questions. Why limit potential to league-approved channels? Why accept organizational constraints when independent ventures could deliver exponentially greater returns? The commissioner understands this calculation perfectly. That's exactly why the reported reaction felt so overwhelming. This wasn't about a shoe advertisement. This was about watching narrative control slip away in real time, about recognizing that transformation arrived ahead of schedule without bothering to seek permission, about confronting the possibility that your premier asset might not stick around to be managed much longer. Here's where it gets really uncomfortable for league leadership. Drop a comment below with your take on Nike's calculated timing. Was this a warning shot to the league or simply smart marketing? Because what happens next determines whether women's basketball evolves or fractures. The commercial's specific content made everything exponentially worse for organizational control. We're getting into what sources close to league operations have been whispering about, so let's be transparent about speculation versus confirmation. Multiple insiders suggest the Christmas morning release caught WNBA leadership completely off guard. No advanced screening, no courtesy notification, no opportunity to coordinate messaging or prepare damage control statements. Nike's production team had apparently been working on this campaign for months. They shot footage across multiple locations, secured celebrity appearances, developed the From Anywhere tagline, created the CC logo reveal. This represented serious investment, premium positioning, blockbuster ambitions, yet somehow, the organization that theoretically partners with Nike on women's basketball initiatives learned about the release the same moment everyone else did by scrolling social media on Christmas morning. That breakdown in communication wasn't accidental, it was strategic. Nike was sending a message that extended far beyond shoe marketing. They were demonstrating that Caitlin Clark operates in a different category now, one where league protocols don't apply, where organizational hierarchies become irrelevant, where the talent's value supersedes institutional gatekeeping. Consider what didn't appear in that 32 seconds. 0 WNBA highlight reels. No acknowledgement of league legacy or organizational history. No ceremonial nods to trailblazers or establishment figures. No carefully crafted language about collective growth or partnership values. The advertisement bypassed tradition completely, positioned Clark alongside international male superstars, and challenged anyone to question the comparison. For the commissioner navigating delicate contract negotiations and strategic growth initiatives, this represented a nightmare scenario. Because now every athlete, every agent, every labor negotiator has concrete evidence that serious money exists in women's basketball. It's simply not flowing through official league channels. It's flowing directly to individual stars who possess the leverage to negotiate premium deals, demand creative control, and bypass organizational approval entirely. Team ownership wasn't celebrating either. When your most valuable commodity creates a marketing phenomenon and zero revenue lands in franchise accounts, difficult conversations start happening fast. Owners wanted answers. Where are our returns? Why wasn't this coordinated through league partnerships? Why does it feel like we're spectators while Nike profits from our investment in developing talent and building infrastructure? The presentation gap with other athletes added fuel to existing frustration. Think about proven champions, decorated veterans, consistency personified. Athletes who have been Nike-sponsored for years, equally deserving of recognition and premium marketing treatment. Yet the contrast was undeniable. Clark's spot felt like a blockbuster film premiere. Other campaigns felt like standard contractual obligations being fulfilled with minimal creativity or investment. Fair or unfair didn't matter here. In sports marketing, perception drives everything. The perception that Nike was delivering premium treatment to one athlete while others received basic packages poured gasoline on tensions that had been simmering all season. Seasoned competitors who'd been shouldering league responsibilities for years watched a second-year player receive marketing treatment typically reserved for all-time legends. Many of you noticed something else the commercial revealed. Nike had been holding back Clark's signature shoe release intentionally. "We've been waiting since Iowa." Fans expected her rookie season to launch with signature footwear, ready to capitalize on historic draft attention and record-breaking viewership. Instead, Nike made strategic calculations about timing, market positioning, and competitive dynamics within their own athlete roster. Social media has been lighting up with theories about why the delay happened. Some suggest Nike was managing internal politics with other sponsored athletes who felt their accomplishments deserved recognition before a rookie received premium treatment. Others point to the league's own tensions, speculation that organizational pressure influenced Nike's timeline decisions to avoid stoking existing controversies about favoritism and unequal promotion. But Christmas 2025 changed the calculation. Nike apparently decided waiting any longer risked losing momentum, missing market opportunities, or watching competitors attempt to poach the most marketable athlete women's basketball has ever produced. So, they went all in with a production that announced Caitlin Clark isn't just another WNBA player being given standard endorsement packaging. She's being positioned as a global icon whose brand transcends basketball entirely. The "From Anywhere" tagline carried multiple meanings, surface level. It referenced Clark's shooting range, her ability to hit impossible shots from anywhere on the court. Deeper analysis revealed Nike's global ambitions, their intention to market Clark internationally as a universal superstar whose appeal crosses cultural and geographic boundaries. Then, international fans discovered they couldn't actually purchase the products being advertised. Social media exploded with complaints from Europe, Asia, South America. Confusion transformed into anger. The commissioner found herself managing yet another crisis, this time involving disappointed global audiences who'd been promised access to products that remained unavailable in their markets. The WNBA community is buzzing about what this means for league leverage going forward. When one player can generate this level of independent marketing power, when major sponsors demonstrate they don't need organizational coordination, when audiences clearly prefer individual star power over collective brand messaging, traditional sports league dynamics start crumbling. Every hard contact moving forward gets reanalyzed through this lens. Every competitive confrontation becomes about jealousy and resentment. Every aggressive play feeds into broader narratives about disrespect, favoritism, and unequal treatment. When basketball transforms into social commentary about marketing equity and star power imbalances, the actual product deteriorates. Players stop focusing on competition and start calculating their own brand positioning. The commissioner had already invested 2 seasons trying to maintain stability amid unprecedented attention and controversy. This commercial didn't just disturb that precarious balance, it obliterated it entirely. Because Nike's message extended beyond Caitlin Clark's individual success. It established a template for how elite athletes can bypass traditional sports league structures, build independent brand empires, and retain control over their own narratives and revenue streams. Here's the part that should terrify league leadership most. That previous comment about gratitude, the subtle suggestion that Clark should show more appreciation for the platform the WNBA provided. That statement aged like milk left in the sun. This Nike commercial served as the perfect response without uttering a single defensive word. It demonstrated that Caitlin Clark doesn't owe anyone gratitude for recognizing her obvious value. Her talent stands independently. She delivers audiences, secures premium sponsorships, generates mainstream attention, and creates financial opportunities that extend far beyond what organizational partnerships can offer. Once the conversation shifts from whether an athlete fits within the league to whether the league deserves that athlete, everything transforms fundamentally. Independent ventures stop sounding crazy and start sounding smart. Alternative basketball circuits backed by major sponsors become viable options. International exhibition tours that bypass league schedules become attractive possibilities. Media production deals that leverage star power without organizational constraints become realistic opportunities. Nike understands this reality. Amazon understands this reality. Media corporations understand this reality. The commissioner understands this too, which explains why the reported reaction felt so visceral. Anger beats acknowledging weakness, even when the evidence becomes overwhelming. Because admitting you've lost control means admitting the entire organizational structure needs fundamental reconstruction. The real irony: this commercial didn't manufacture the underlying crisis. It exposed what already existed. The fury wasn't about footwear marketing or celebrity appearances or production quality. It was about narrative control slipping away, about recognizing that transformation arrived ahead of schedule, about confronting the uncomfortable truth that audiences have already chosen. Their favorite, and no amount of organizational messaging can reverse that selection. Christmas morning was supposed to stay peaceful. Instead, it broadcast 2025's most significant message about women's basketball's future. The league can champion collective success indefinitely, promote equal recognition endlessly, demand organizational loyalty constantly. But when one athlete generates more attention than everyone else combined, when major sponsors bypass league approval entirely, when audiences clearly prefer individual star power over collaborative branding, traditional structures become obsolete. The system was designed to spread attention equally, not handle this kind of magnetic force, pulling everything into a single gravitational field. So, the anger made perfect sense. It was acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that influence had shifted permanently, that traditional strategies no longer applied, that women's basketball's next chapter might not wait politely for organizational permission. If you found this analysis valuable, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're tracking every development as the power dynamics in women's basketball continue shifting. Next video, we're breaking down what happens when franchise owners realize their investment returns depend entirely on keeping one player happy. The leverage conversation is about to get very uncomfortable. The quiet after Christmas wasn't calm. It was anxiety about what comes next when your entire business model depends on controlling assets that no longer need your permission to thrive. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.